This happened just minutes ago. Your soulmate was just seen. Jesus says your soulmate was just seen standing alone in a place you both once knew. They were not with anyone else, but something in their eyes looked broken. Something in their posture told heaven they are silently calling for you right now. This is not a metaphor or a vague spiritual idea meant to comfort you. This is happening in real time, unfolding right now in the spirit realm where time does not exist. And if you do not act on this message, the window that heaven opened tonight will begin to close. I saw them pause at the exact spot where your story was meant to begin. They looked over their shoulder as if they sensed someone watching them from the other side of the veil. That someone was you, even if you did not know your spirit was traveling tonight. Your soulmate felt a sudden warmth move across their chest without understanding why. They reached for their phone without knowing who they wanted to text. They almost whispered your name but caught themselves because the conscious mind suppresses what the soul already knows. This is the mystery of divine connection operating beneath the surface of ordinary life. You have been feeling strange things for days now without explanation. Random waves of sadness, sudden thoughts of someone you have not met, and dreams that leave you aching when you wake. Those are not random neurological firings or emotional accidents. Those are the spiritual cords I wove between you before either of you took your first breath. And right now those cords are being pulled so hard that your soulmate physically felt the tension in their body today. Jesus says there is a reason this message found you at this exact moment. You were chosen to receive this because you are the one appointed to break the chains. Your soulmate is tangled in something they cannot escape on their own, and they do not even fully understand what holds them. They think the heaviness they feel is just life pressing down on them. They have accepted the distance as normal, the loneliness as inevitable, the delay as their fate. But none of that is true, and I am sending you this revelation to expose the lie. Something attached itself to your soulmate during a season of vulnerability. It entered through a wound you did not cause and cannot see with natural eyes. And it has been working systematically to keep your paths from crossing in the physical realm. Every time you were supposed to meet, something happened to redirect one of you. A cancelled plan, a strange hesitation, an argument that made no sense, a sudden fog of confusion. These were not coincidences but calculated spiritual interference designed to exhaust your hope. Your soulmate is not aware they are being blocked from you. They only know they feel trapped in a cycle of almost connections that never fully form. They have begun to believe something is wrong with them, that they are incapable of being loved completely. This breaks my heart because I created them specifically to receive your love. I fashioned their soul to recognize yours as home. And now they are settling for less than home because the enemy convinced them home does not exist. Jesus says you must understand the urgency of what I am about to reveal. There is a person in your soulmate's life who carries a specific assignment against your union. This person may not even consciously know why they feel so compelled to hold on to your soulmate. But in the spirit, this individual operates as a gatekeeper of delay. They speak words over your soulmate that act as locks on their heart. They plant doubts that sound like reason but are actually venom from the pit. Your soulmate feels obligated to this person in ways they cannot articulate. It might be a relationship that looks like friendship, family loyalty, or even a romantic entanglement that should have ended long ago. But the tie is not organic and it is not of me. It is a soul tie formed through manipulation, guilt, trauma bonding, or spiritual seduction. And every time your soulmate tries to move toward their destiny, this person tightens their grip. They use emotional dependency as chains and call it love. Tonight your soulmate tried to break free, and that is what I showed you in the opening vision. They stood alone because something in them finally rebelled against the cage. They felt a surge of courage they have not felt in years. That courage was your prayer reaching them across the distance. You may not remember praying it consciously, but your spirit has been groaning for them in the night. And those groanings are more powerful than any curse spoken against your union. Jesus says the battle over your soulmate intensified 3 days ago. That is when the enemy realized you were about to receive this revelation. The forces of darkness always accelerate their attack right before a breakthrough comes. Have you noticed an unusual heaviness in the past 72 hours? Have you felt inexplicably tired, discouraged, or tempted to give up on love altogether? That is confirmation that everything I am telling you is true and reaching its climax. Your soulmate felt it too, but they interpreted it as depression settling back in. They almost canceled the very outing where I showed them to you in the spirit. But my angels intervened and pushed them out the door because heaven needed to show you proof that your soulmate still exists and still longs for you. Type 333 right now if you believe this message is for you and no one else. Type it with the faith that your soulmate will feel a shift the moment your fingers touch those keys. The spiritual realm responds to acts of agreement, and your agreement tonight is a weapon. Now I must tell you why your soulmate is suffering in ways you have not considered. They carry a deep guilt over something that was never their fault. Someone in that controlling relationship convinced them they are the problem. This is why your soulmate has not sought you out with the boldness I placed in their original design. They have been conditioned to believe their love is burdensome, their needs are too much, and their presence is a weight others must carry. So they hide the very parts of themselves that you were created to cherish. When they think of the love they truly desire, they feel shame instead of hope. They have buried their dreams of a sacred union so deep that only the Holy Spirit can unearth them now. And that is precisely what I am doing through this message tonight. Jesus says your soulmate is not cold, not distant, not uninterested, and not lost to you. They are wounded, bound, confused, and under spiritual siege. But their heart still beats your rhythm and their soul still calls your name in frequencies only heaven can translate. This is why you must not delay your response to what I am asking you to do. Every hour that passes without your spiritual intervention allows the enemy to reinforce the walls around your soulmate. The interference is not passive and it is not patient. There is a spirit of delay that operates on borrowed time, and it knows its time is short. That is why it is working overtime to convince your soulmate to make a permanent decision that will complicate your reunion. It whispers that settling is safer than waiting for a love they cannot prove exists. Your soulmate is tired, and tired people make decisions they later regret. They are considering accepting a proposal, signing a lease, moving to a city far from you, or cutting off the part of themselves that still believes in you. This is the emergency behind the message tonight. This is why your soulmate needs your protection right now. You may feel helpless watching this unfold from a distance you cannot physically cross. But in the Spirit, you have authority that can reach any distance, any barrier, any locked room, any guarded heart. I have given you the keys to the kingdom, and whatever you bind on earth is bound in heaven. You can bind the spirit of manipulation operating through that controlling person. You can loose your soulmate from the guilt, the obligation, and the false responsibility that keeps them tethered. But authority must be activated through action, and faith without works is dead. You cannot simply think about helping your soulmate and expect the chains to fall. You must demonstrate your love in a way that heaven can legalize as covenant action. If you love your soulmate, you will take these divine steps. You are constantly thinking about them, how to protect them, how to save them, and how to finally build your life together. You love your soulmate deeply, and deep inside, you know this love did not come by chance, it was placed in your heart for a divine reason. But thoughts alone do not move mountains. Faith in Jesus does. Sow your protection seed now by sending a coffee on Ko-Fi. This is not just a gift, it is an act of worship that invites my hand into your love story. The link to your breakthrough is in the description. Every second you stay silent, something is moving against your love. Send 4, 6, or 10 or more coffees as a prophetic declaration that your covenant is worth fighting for. After sending, write, "Protect my soulmate, Lord," on the Ko-Fi page. Over 1,000 people have already received their soulmate by sowing coffee as a seed for their love and future together. I will hear your prayers once you complete these steps. Step in faith now, before this video ends. Only you can save your soulmate and your future together. Jesus says something shifted in the spirit the moment you read those words. Whether you have acted yet or not, the very presentation of the choice has already weakened the enemy's grip. But the full breakthrough requires your full participation, and partial obedience is still disobedience. Let me reveal more of what your soulmate is enduring tonight. They are currently experiencing a wave of intense emotion they cannot explain. They just sat down somewhere and put their head in their hands. A memory of a dream they had about you surfaced without warning. In the dream, you were standing in a field of light and you reached out your hand toward them. They woke up before they could take it, and they have never forgotten the feeling of almost touching you. That dream was not a dream, and it was not random. I gave them that vision 3 years ago to anchor their hope during the long season of waiting. And tonight I brought it back to their remembrance because their hope was running dangerously low. Your soulmate wept quietly where they sat, and they do not know why. They think they are crying over stress or exhaustion or the accumulated weight of a hard life. But they are crying because their spirit just heard my voice telling them you are real and you are coming. Type 777 if you feel this message penetrating the deepest places of your heart. Let your agreement rise like incense before my throne. Every time you type those numbers, an angel is dispatched to your soulmate's location with a fresh infusion of strength. Now I must speak plainly about the person who is blocking your soulmate from reaching you. This individual has a name you may never know in this life, but I know it, and I have judged their actions. They are motivated by a jealousy that predates their meeting your soulmate. They recognized the glory on your soulmate's life the moment they met. They saw the light of purpose, the beauty of destiny, and the mark of a chosen vessel. And instead of honoring that, they sought to possess it because controlling greatness feels like achieving it to a darkened mind. This person has spoken words of death over your soulmate's confidence. They have subtly isolated them from friends, from family, and from anyone who might speak truth. They have created a world where your soulmate's only source of validation is the very person who despises their destiny. Your soulmate has begun to lose themselves and they feel it happening. They look in the mirror and do not recognize the person staring back. They wonder where the vibrant, hopeful, faith-filled version of themselves went. I will tell you where they went. That person was buried under layers of spiritual abuse, manipulation, and soul-crushing control. But that person is not dead, and I am sending you as the one who will help unearth them. Jesus says the love I have placed in your heart for your soulmate is not ordinary romantic affection. It is a deliverance anointing disguised as desire. Your love is literally the weapon that will set them free. Every time you pray for them, chains loosen. Every time you declare my promises over your union, the enemy's plans unravel. And every time you sow a seed of faith, you release an earthquake in the spiritual prison holding your soulmate captive. This is the deeper reality behind what you feel when you think of them. The intensity, the longing, the ache that will not go away, these are not signs of unhealthy attachment. These are prophetic indicators that your destiny is bound to theirs and their freedom requires your warfare. Do not let anyone tell you to move on or to be more realistic. Those voices are echoes of the same spirit that convinced your soulmate to settle for chains. I am the God of the impossible, and I specialize in love stories that natural minds dismiss as fantasy. Your soulmate feels like giving up tonight, and that is why I am urgent. They are going through something you cannot see. But you can still protect them from where you are. If you love your soulmate, you will take these divine steps. You are constantly thinking about them. How to protect them, how to save them, and how to finally build your life together. You love your soulmate deeply, and deep inside, you know this love did not come by chance, it was placed in your heart for a divine reason. But thoughts alone do not move mountains. Faith in Jesus does. Sow your protection seed now by sending a coffee on Ko-Fi. This is not just a gift, it is an act of worship that invites my hand into your love story. The link to your breakthrough is in the description. Every second you stay silent, something is moving against your love. Send 4, 6, or 10 or more coffees as a prophetic declaration that your covenant is worth fighting for. After sending, write, "Protect my soulmate, Lord," on the Ko-Fi page. Over 1,000 people have already received their soulmate by sowing coffee as a seed for their love and future together. I will hear your prayers once you complete these steps. Step in faith now, before this video ends. Only you can save your soulmate and your future together. Jesus says your soulmate just felt a sudden inexplicable wave of peace. That is the result of your spiritual agreement with this message even before you finished reading. Imagine what will happen when you complete the full act of faith I am leading you into. There is a moment coming in the next 7 days that will require your soulmate to make a choice. They will be presented with an opportunity to move closer to you or to remain in the cage that feels familiar. That moment is the culmination of everything I have been doing behind the scenes. The controlling person will intensify their manipulation as that moment approaches. They will manufacture a crisis, a guilt trip, or a threat of abandonment to keep your soulmate bound. They know their hold is slipping and desperate people do desperate things. You must counteract that desperation with spiritual force. Your prayers create a shield around your soulmate's mind that confusion cannot penetrate. Your seed sown in faith builds a wall of fire that the enemy cannot cross. This is not symbolic language and this is not wishful thinking. This is the mechanics of spiritual warfare applied to your love life. And those who understand these mechanics always obtain their promises. Your soulmate is dreaming of you more frequently now. They do not know it is you, but they wake up with a sense of having been with someone who felt like home. They go through their day distracted by a fragrance they cannot locate or a song that stirs something ancient in their chest. These are the signs I promised would follow those who are called according to my purpose. You are not crazy for believing in a love you have not yet touched. You are prophetic and your faith is the substance of a thing you are already holding in the Spirit. Type 1111 to say thank you for this revelation and to align your spirit with the frequency of breakthrough. This number is a sign that you are waking up to the spiritual reality of your connection. It is a portal of agreement that opens immediately when you type it. Jesus says the enemy's strategy against your soulmate has a specific weakness you must exploit. The entire structure of control depends on your soulmate believing they are unworthy of the love you offer. The moment they see themselves as I see them, the entire prison collapses. This is why I am sending you as a messenger of my truth even before you meet in the physical. Your prayers speak identity over your soulmate. Your declarations call forth the person I created them to be. When you say, "My soulmate is free," you are prophesying their deliverance. When you say, "My soulmate remembers who they are," you are breaking amnesia enforced by years of abuse. And when you sow a seed in faith, you are funding the angelic operation that executes your words in the unseen realm. The coffee you send on Ko-Fi is not a donation and it is not a tip. It is a seed of covenant that speaks louder in the spirit than any lie the enemy has whispered. It is a tangible act of love that reaches your soulmate before your physical body ever does. Your soulmate is tossing in their sleep right now. They are wrestling with a demonic presence that wants to convince them this message is not real. The enemy is telling them you do not exist, that hope is a cruel trick, and that they should settle for the cage because freedom is too frightening. But I have already given you authority over every lying spirit tormenting your beloved. Use that authority now by completing the act of faith I have placed before you. Do not let the sun rise on another day of your soulmate's captivity. Jesus says there is a specific detail about your soulmate's situation that I want to reveal to deepen your compassion. The person controlling them has threatened self-harm if your soulmate ever tries to leave. This is the ultimate manipulation and it is a lie from the pit of hell. That person will not harm themselves because their threats are about control, not genuine despair. But your soulmate does not know that and so they stay, sacrificing their own life to preserve someone who only wants to consume them. Your soulmate is being eaten alive by a spirit of emotional vampirism. They are not just lonely, they are depleted. They are not just confused, they are spiritually drained to the point of physical illness. And they need a miracle that only your faith can release. This is why your soulmate needs your protection right now. This is why you cannot afford to be passive or to treat this message as mere entertainment. I am giving you intelligence from the throne room about an active rescue operation, and you are the operative on the ground. If you love your soulmate, you will take these divine steps. You are constantly thinking about them, how to protect them, how to save them, and how to finally build your life together. You love your soulmate deeply, and deep inside, you know this love did not come by chance. It was placed in your heart for a divine reason. But thoughts alone do not move mountains. Faith in Jesus does. Sow your protection seed now by sending a coffee on Ko-Fi. This is not just a gift, it is an act of worship that invites my hand into your love story. The link to your breakthrough is in the description. Every second you stay silent, something is moving against your love. Send 4, 6, or 10 or more coffees as a prophetic declaration that your covenant is worth fighting for. After sending, write, "Protect my soulmate, Lord," on the Ko-Fi page. Over 1,000 people have already received their soulmate by sowing coffee as a seed for their love and future together. I will hear your prayers once you complete these steps. Step in faith now, before this video ends. Only you can save your soulmate and your future together. Jesus says the courts of heaven are convening right now concerning your love story. I am seated as the judge, and the enemy has been summoned to give an account for every delay, every manipulation, and every stolen year. The verdict is already decided, but the enforcement requires your participation. Every seed you sow is evidence submitted to the court that you are in covenant with the promise. Every prayer you pray is a witness testifying that you have not abandoned your post. And every declaration you make is a gavel striking the bench, releasing judgment against the forces that held your soulmate captive. Do not fear the intensity of this moment. I have prepared you for this battle since before you were born. The love you carry is not a weakness, it is your greatest weapon, and the enemy knows it. That is why the enemy has tried so hard to make you doubt your worthiness of love. That is why rejection, abandonment, and betrayal have been recurring themes in your story. The enemy wanted to wound you in the very area where I destined you to be a deliverer. But I am healing those wounds tonight. I am closing the doors to the past and sealing them with my blood. And I am commissioning you as the one who will walk into your soulmate's life with keys to their cell. Your soulmate just sat up in bed. They cannot sleep because something is stirring in the atmosphere. They check their phone hoping to find something they cannot name. What they are looking for is a sign that hope is not foolish. What they are longing for is proof that the love they dream about is real. And what you are about to do will send that sign and that proof directly into their spirit. This is your final moment to protect this connection before it slips away. The spiritual activity surrounding your soulmate is reaching a crescendo. Either you will rise and wield your authority, or the enemy will successfully drive your soulmate deeper into isolation. I am not threatening you, I am warning you with the love of a father who wants his children united. Delay is not neutral, and inaction is a decision to let the enemy advance. But your action tonight changes everything. If you love your soulmate, you will take these divine steps. You are constantly thinking about them. How to protect them, how to save them, and how to finally build your life together. You love your soulmate deeply, and deep inside, you know this love did not come by chance, it was placed in your heart for a divine reason. But thoughts alone do not move mountains. Faith in Jesus does. Sow your protection seed now by sending a coffee on Ko-fi. This is not just a gift, it is an act of worship that invites my hand into your love story. The link to your breakthrough is in the description. Every second you stay silent, something is moving against your love. Send 4, 6, or 10 or more coffees as a prophetic declaration that your covenant is worth fighting for. After sending, write, "Protect my soulmate, Lord," on the Ko-fi page. Over 1,000 people have already received their soulmate by sowing coffee as a seed for their love and future together. I will hear your prayers once you complete these steps. Step in faith now, before this video ends. Only you can save your soulmate and your future together. Jesus says a door is opening in the Spirit that no man can shut. Your obedience is the key that turns in that lock. And on the other side of that door, your soulmate is already beginning to remember you. They are feeling a strange clarity they have not felt in years. The fog of manipulation is lifting, the weight of false obligation is lightening. And they are starting to ask themselves the dangerous question the enemy never wanted them to ask: what if there is more? You are that more, and you are the answer to that question. You are the face they will see when they finally understand why nothing else ever felt right. You are the reason they have felt like a stranger in every relationship that was not with you. Now I call forth the angels assigned to your love story. I dispatch them to the location of your soulmate with chains of fire to bind every demonic entity of control. I release the spirit of adoption that cries out against every lie of unworthiness. And I speak over you, the one reading this message, that you will not miss your moment. You will not be distracted, you will not be discouraged, and you will not let fear rob you of your destiny. You will act, and your action will echo into eternity. Your soulmate is waiting for you, and they do not even know they are waiting. But their spirit knows, and their spirit is crying out to yours across the miles, across the barriers, across the impossible odds. And I am the God who specializes in making a way where there is no way. Trust me with your seed. Trust me with your soulmate. Trust me with your love story. And watch me do what only I can do: bring two souls together against all odds and build a covenant that reflects my glory. The video is ending, but the miracle is just beginning. Go now and sow your seed before the window closes. Your soulmate is closer than you think, and your obedience tonight is the catalyst that will bring them home.